No woman should ever struggle with a man. So hi guys, welcome everybody to another amazing segment.
We want to say thank you to all of you that are watching our videos. Thank you. God bless you. I saw one of the guys that commented. That guy has gone through a lot, but we need to pray for him.
Your prayers should be with him. So we thank you. We thank you so much. Your new followers, our existing followers, thank you so much. We really appreciate your views and how you grow the channel with us. We thank you. Today is another amazing segment on this channel.
Yeah, but before then, we have to we are bringing up a new style every Thursday. We'll be giving back to our fans. We'll be recharging your phone, so get ready for Gist with Lizzie Thursday giveaway. It's going to be massive. It's going to be big.
Yeah.
So just join us and let us push this family forward.
Yes.
And today
we have an amazing guest.
Manus Menos.
A man of God.
Eguato. This guy is gifted. This guy is talented.
Yeah.
This guy is international. He is a multimedia expert. I can't wait to introduce you to all the way from all the way from US, Nigeria. We welcome Pimo Production. It's going to be
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. When you are doing the introduction, actually, I was looking around to see who you were.
This is always a very humble person.
You are the honorable guest that we are introducing.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you. We really appreciate you leaving your busy schedule to be here with us today. We appreciate you coming. So thank you. Please help us. We are going to read out a story. Please help us to elaborate it so that our audience can understand. So we are going to move straight to the story now. Our audience, please relax, listen so that you can give your honest review, because all the quite important.
Very
important.
Your review is important.
Yeah.
Because the person that sent in this story is waiting for us to
she
review
sit down,
it.
she crossed her legs.
And I trust Pimo. Pimo will do justice to the story. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and read the story now. She says, "Good day, ma'am. Please advise me. I swear, no woman should ever struggle with a man."
Hey.
That's
a dangerous area.
Why is it dangerous? She has her own insight. She has her own reasons for this. So let me read out the story. When I met my husband, he had less to nothing. He was struggling to cater for himself as a young man. At the time when we met, I was working and everything was going on well for myself. After our marriage, my husband insisted I resigned from my job to take care of the home front and our children yet to come. I agreed because I was pregnant at the time and I knew that he couldn't take care of the child when the child was born all by himself while I work. So I started doing 1 or 2 business to support him in any little way that I can. But my husband always says when I get money, I should use it to cater for the home need, any little thing I need in the house, instead of disturbing him about it. Why he invests his money on lands and projects? Because we were trying to build a house at the time. We started like this and things were going on well for us. I had no issue with it because I put every trust on my husband. Now, my marriage is 9 years. My marriage of 9 years just crashed.
Wow.
My husband says he never wants to see me or have anything to do with me again because he met another woman. Now I am leaving the marriage empty-handed to start my life all over again. All our landed properties and cars are all in my husband's name. he said he was doing investments so that we could have a steady ground a steady ground in rainy days. But I never knew he has been planning for divorce all these years. Because even the car he gave me as a birthday gift was in his name. All landed properties were in his name. I have nothing to my name. Now I am going back to square zero because I have nothing. Just my children. I swear, no woman should ever invest with a man because it has no benefit for her if anything happens to the marriage. As I am sending this now, I am preparing myself to leave the house and start my life all over again because I am empty-handed. Please, how do I go from here?
Wow.
Story finish.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. Let's dissect it. People are quiet now.
Why are you waiting for me to talk?
Yes, I'm waiting for you to give input.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Give input. Tell me. Okay, let me ask this question now. You know, sometimes what works for Mr. A doesn't work for Mr. B. And the episode of Mr. A might be quite different from the episode of Mr. B.
Well, actually, for me, in cases like this, from hearing this story, there seems to be some gray areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So when it comes to the case of a man and a woman, right, it is always better to hear both sides.
Okay.
I'm not saying the person is wrong. She might be right in her own standing. But then again, in another world of somebody else, the case could be reversed. That is why I don't agree with the statement that isolates a whole gender. For me, I always don't like that. I don't believe in saying that don't do this with men or don't do this with women. They're all the same. Because men, in our own case, a lot of men die in silence. I can tell you that there are men that probably have a similar case or probably even worse. But you will not really hear about it because a man is always supposed to be man. You understand? But even though at that, it's not fair, to say the truth. It's not fair. But then again, you know, it's it's really a messed up situation, you know. And like you said, what you said was actually on point, because this is a philosophy I've been telling a lot of people. It's different strokes for different folks. Like you say, what works for Mr. A will not work for Mr. B. Right? This same issue, in this same story, this exact replica of this story, there are people that are doing the same and are having a blast.
And it works for them. Yeah.
So you cannot say a woman should not struggle with a man. Right? She did this because she couldn't foresee the future, or there are some signs, because there are always signs for you to be able to see that something is up. That's why I say there are gray areas in this story. Because, you know...
Apostle, I want to comment.
Comment.
I still believe that we should give our partners chance, but once in a while, you keep a tab on them.
Okay, what kind of tab are you talking about now?
Yes, what is he doing? He's buying properties. How is he buying it? You understand? I think somebody will say, why are you checking my phone? Why are you touching my phone? Why are you doing this? It's good to give the person the secrecy, but once in a while, you need to keep a tab. Why? Because...
Well, man of God, let me cut you there.
Okay.
You see, it still boils down to the same thing we are saying. That thing you are talking about would not work for somebody. Because for some people, there's a place of absolute trust.
Okay.
Because the relationship we're talking about here is marriage. It's not boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, so the woman probably had that absolute trust.
And confidence.
Man of God, that absolute trust, even God, our Heavenly Father, he had trust in Abraham. He woke up one morning and said, sacrifice your first son.
Your first son,
You understand? And Abraham had to prove his trust. I don't believe in trust absolutely. I believe in once in a while, you keep a tab. So that keeping a tab is not that you don't trust. It just means that you are
it's a vigilant. You are vigilant.
You are vigilant. That's why Benjamin said something. He said, watch and pray. That he doesn't know where we learn close our eyes. But that one is for
it's for another.
Just
okay.
But what I mean is, while he's doing his thing, it's good to once in a while. I'm not saying you should keep a tab.
Okay, now let's look at this from her own point of view. You know, everybody have their own different perspective. According to her story, this is 9 years of marriage, right? 9 years is not 9 days.
At all.
Now, your husband keeps buying properties, and no one carries Mrs. Okafor, Anabe, and family. No one carries Mrs. This so and so. It's only say Mr. Okafor property. What's your intake on that?
There are signs you must have seen, because the way the whole story ended is as if the man just woke up one day and say, I know they do.
Yeah.
You know, but there is something that's why I said the story is not complete, even though it's a summary actually.
Yeah.
But she should have seen signs, and she should have found a way to go around that. You know, like you said something. You said keep tabs, right? There's a way you can keep tabs without the other person knowing.
Yes.
But in this case, you are seeing that everything is going in the man's name. Besides, in the area of properties, there's always next of kin. So who is his next of kin? It's either
and
even
whether the marriage is legal, because I know that if it is legal, even if it is the man's name,
thank you,
the court will rule.
Beautiful.
What if the marriage is not legal?
Any marriage that is not legal,
that's what I'm saying. The story is not. It's not. You can't really conclude.
It can't be marriage without.
But then again, if it's next of kin, she should probably be next of kin in some of the cases. Like you said, if it's a legal marriage, even if it's dissolved, she will have access to some of those things.
Yes.
So what type of marriage are we talking about here?
Yes.
Even if it is all in his name,
Yes.
by law, she will have right.
The lady will
to
get
some.
something.
There should be some level of compensation. So is it a Wajoko kind of marriage?
It's Abuja marriage.
Or is it? Because you can't just say you've
that's
lost
Abuja marriage.
everything.
Maybe I lost it. Maybe I lost it. You now pack it.
Because I have a friend that got divorced. He's into properties. He has a lot of properties, you know. It got to a point that the wife had to take him to court because he didn't want to give her anything, you know. And at the end of the day, the law prevailed to some extent. In fact, at a particular point, they even had to block his BVN, so he didn't have access to any of his accounts. You know, and this person is a millionaire. You understand? So by law, you know, even though the main thing we're talking about is the divorce, but by law, you can't say you've left empty-handed.
I think this person that said this story is a bit trickish.
Trickish how?
Yes, because the title is the title I want us to focus on now. What's the title again?
Okay, she says here, I swear no woman should ever struggle with a man.
Struggle.
Okay. Yeah, struggle.
Let us talk about it.
Let's talk about that struggle.
If your wife didn't struggle with you, will you happy?
Look, see, but struggle on a serious note, struggle comes in two ways.
Okay.
It could be good struggle.
And it could be negative struggle. Okay.
Right. So we don't know what particular struggle she's talking about.
No, but you know, literally in our Gen Z generation, when they say struggle with a man is when you go to a man that is not in money or is not well do, that the man is starting from scratch, from one room. You understand? So that is the Gen Z idea.
Because
but I want us to talk to these Gen Z people. Is it good?
What's the definition of struggle?
No, is it good for a man to struggle, a woman
to struggle?
Okay, let me take this thing another direction.
Okay.
If your daughter now comes with a guy, I say, Daddy, I want to marry this guy. You look at the guy and you see struggling around.
You struggle as first cap.
Would you see yes
or would you say no?
Or what would you see
that will make you accept?
That in the struggling guy that will say, instead of waiting for a rich guy, I trust this guy to start people.
Well, in my own case, if it were me, the first thing I would do is have a one-on-one with my daughter.
Okay.
What did you see? Because there's probably something you saw that I don't know. Because
Okay.
I'm meeting him for the first time. Because one thing I understand is that women are better spotters of potential than
True.
we men,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So you don't, as a parent, you don't just react. Even though we protect the interests of our children, you could get a wealthy man like this woman now. Obviously, he's not a poor man. He's
at
buying
all.
lands and houses. I'm sure when he came, the parents say, correct, Diego, correct. You understand? But at the end of the day, you understand? So in that case, you always have to sit the party involved and find out what did you see in that person. Then the best place for you as a parent is advice, because you have the advantage of experience and knowledge than your children. So you can advise.
I want us to come clean. Because now I have a daughter. If my daughter, after this struggle I have struggled in my own life, now came and brought one guy that is struggling, it will not end in advice.
Why would you end in advice? I don't
No,
understand.
because let us be sincere.
Okay.
How many of us have seen people that have struggled? How many of them have you seen that have passed that poverty line? Let us be sincere. In your lifetime, you saw a man that came from nothing
And gradually he's growing.
and he grew and passed the poverty line. And you now, when you pass the poverty line and you have a child, and the child want to go and embrace poverty, and you know
You know where you're coming
that
from.
to pass that line is not English language. In fact, my philosophy says to pass from poverty to riches,
Yeah.
a generation
Must sacrifice.
must sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you are the generation, that means when you see good things, you remove your eyes. You see where to enjoy. You just be disciplining yourself so that you can escape that poverty line. So me, I feel is not more of advice. And my question now is, what would you see in the young man? If it is me, first of all, I will chase him away and call him again. But what
We'll
would
talk
you
again
see
later.
in a young man
Yeah.
that will make you say, although this guy is struggling,
Let's give him a chance.
let's give him a chance.
Okay.
Because you
Well,
don't say, okay, continue, sir.
I can relate with your concerns and where you're coming from, but I beg to differ.
Okay.
I beg to differ absolutely, completely, because I have seen people that have broken those barriers. I have seen people that have that they have caught a niche for themselves.
From
You
low
understand?
life.
From low life. I have seen it, you know.
Like,
You
how
know,
many people have you seen?
I
Because
can't-
the ones I see is the people that say they will blow.
They're still blowing
They
now.
never blow.
They're in the process. I don't understand.
No. You see,
They're in the
most
process.
of the time, perception is what we choose to see.
Okay.
You know, because you are very careful and conscious of that, you tend to see those ones and you don't see the other ones. If you look at your life, I'm sure there are a lot of people that, but in fact, most of the time, let me be frank with you, we see the glory, we don't see what the person has gone through. So there are a lot of successful people, in quote successful, that we see as successful,
true.
that we don't know their origin story. You understand? So that's what I'm talking about. The same thing still boils down to the fact that different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
I never in this life, I've learned one thing, not to generalize things for people.
Okay.
Right? Because people, first of all, nobody is born poor.
Okay. You are speaking like a pastor now. Continue.
Yeah, but that's the truth. That's the truth, you know. There are people that are born rich,
Okay.
but grew up with a poor
Poor
mentality.
mentality. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? There are people that have been born poor, but they decided, maybe by influence or by relationship, decided to do something. For instance, let me give an example with myself, right? I'm the last born of 6 children, right? I have 2 brothers and I have 3 sisters. Well, 3 boys, 3 girls. Between me and my immediate senior sister is 6 years.
Wow.
So you can imagine the gap I have with my
Yeah,
other
yeah.
seniors, right? At the age of 17, I left my father's house. Why? Because I got tired. I just finished secondary school. I got tired of, the whole thing. I was the last born. Everybody was, and
Everybody
then
was-
I didn't like the lifestyle my brothers were emulating. And one of those reasons was because I was a church boy at a very young age. So what I was seeing was not consistent with the word of God that I was being taught. So that stirred up a kind of detach for me from the system of my family. So I remember my mother was shouting, "Are you a small boy? What do you want to go out and do? Blah, 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 this and that. How are you going to survive?" I had no idea how I was going to survive, but I knew I had to leave this place. You get me? Meanwhile, when I met my father, I will never forget, God rest his soul. He said, "Well done, my son." That was the only thing he told me. You know. When I went out, did I suffer? I suffered.
That is what I want to hear.
You know. You know. But then again, those suffering are the things that molded me to be what I am today. So, hold on. So, if I see my daughter with somebody, right? Rewind back a bit. 2005, there was a lady I was supposed to marry. And we started dating 1998. Right. For 5 years, we were dating. But her senior brother, she was the last born in her family, and she was staying with her senior brother, who is the firstborn, you know. And the senior brother didn't want her to marry me.
Because the senior brother is...
Hold on. Let me shock you. Wait.
He was taking the radar.
Wait, let me shock you. Let me shock you so that you understand why my mindset is different. Her senior brother was my pastor. He was the one teaching me all these things. In fact, he was the one that would always sit me down and say, "It's good to marry at a young age. You know, plan your life well. Do this. He would encourage me. This way, now you're on your own. You are building yourself." But when he found out that it was his sister that I was interested in,
The gospel changed.
No, why? Because once you are advising somebody and it is somebody that has to do with outsider, this one will touch you.
Okay. Now that's why we need to work on sentiments. You know, our decisions should not be based on sentiment. Our decisions should be based on fact, because it's not just sentiments. Look,
this one is not sentiment.
Hold on. Let me finish. It's not just sentiment. It's selfishness. Which is the nature of man. Every human being has.
But do you know why people? You know, say me, they like. Why I don't blame that guy?
It's what?
It's because he know what he has gone through. Although he preaches it, you know, if you tell somebody be patient, have faith in God, it's sweet in the mouth, but it's the person that is stopping the suffer.
That's where it's coming from.
So, but what I'm trying to say now, as that young man, what were you doing different than other young men? For example, I remember when I started playing keyboard, that was the time that hotel job became popular. All my mates were doing hotel job. They were wearing jeans. They were big.
Okay.
As of that time. So, but you chose to go for scale. Do you understand what I'm saying? What do you think that when you see the choices of a young man, he tells you the story of his life, and you calculate and check everything and say, "Oh, my daughter, don't worry, go. It will be better. I know this." You understand? Because if you know that one will end up, I told one of my friends, said, if you want to help somebody, help according to the Lord. Because there's some people you will help, you keep helping them for the rest of their life until they die.
Well, in that regard, there are two types of men.
Okay.
There are men with vision, and there are men that just hope that things will go well in life. Right?
Now you are telling me what I want to hear.
I have always been a person of vision. Right back then, I have always had a picture
of what you want,
of how my tomorrow will be. You know, there are some particular things that I go through now, and I remember I've seen this
before.
I've seen this before. I'm not still where I want to go, but I am on that path. Have I made mistakes?
Yes.
I've made a lot of mistakes that I even regret. I was even telling my wife some other time, I said, "Look, I told you, and I said, I'm supposed to be bigger than this. I should have done this." But then again, that might have been something else. Maybe God was helping me to rearrange my steps.
So vision is number one.
You know, so vision driven is the first thing that you should look for in a man. Is he vision driven? And then secondly, let's not overemphasize this fact. Let's forget about church and all of this. Does he have the fear of God?
Minus church. Does he have the fear of God?
Fear of God. And that always comes from the well-being. So the
Of the
first
child.
thing you should do is that where is this man from?
Where is he coming
What type
from?
of family is he from? Because you can have a vision. The grave is full of the biggest visions and talents in the world
in
today
the
are in the grave.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right? They're never accomplished. So those are the things you find. Does the person have vision? Where is his family background? You understand? And you might not, but at least have an idea. For us in this part of the world, at least we know regions and sectors. We know this person from this. At least you have an idea. You understand? Even though some people, very few, have broken
away.
out, you know. But then I said, in our part of the world, I get your point. You cannot be too careful. You have to be
You
extra
cannot
vigilant,
be too careful.
you know.
Please tweet it from Pimo. In Nigeria, you cannot be.
It's not just Nigeria, it's
All
Africa
over the
as a
world.
whole, you know.
Guy.
Africa, it's not like, it's quite different in the Western world. You know.
So, but Pimo, do you have a question to ask him?
A question.
Or I should go. Okay.
I want to because we have really deviated a little bit. From the
Yeah,
story.
because that lady,
I
I
want
don't
us-
understand.
No. You have to understand because their people, their families, do you understand? Going through what we are talking about today. Do you understand? There are many people that did just traditional marriage and they are done. They don't have the tendency of going to court. And the woman will say, my loving husband, I am with you.
And that seems to be the case.
Baby, that seems to be the case here. I'm with you. I stand with you. Just be pushing. You're pushing for the both of us. You keep pushing. Why I take care of the home front? And now it turns around like this.
Well, when for me everything is agreement, right? But the Bible says, let me quote the Bible.
Okay.
The Bible says two cannot work together
Unless
unless
they
they
agree.
agree. Which
Okay.
is not just the Bible, it's the basic concept of life. You know, was there an agreement? You can't stay with somebody for 9 years and not have a hint. I might be wrong, but that's the way I see it, you know. Was there some kind of agreement? You understand?
Yeah.
Was there some kind of sign? You understand? Because, brother, look, they say people pretend, but for 9 years, you know. And then again, you should always be in a place to ask questions. I always like it when married people don't hide from each other. If something is bothering you, have a question. You know,
Talk
like my
about
wife,
it.
if something is bothering her, she will always sit me down. Honey, see you. She will always say, sometimes I'm not happy with the questions, but at least she
have
has
to
said her
respond,
mind,
yeah.
you understand? And I need to give a response, you
Yes.
understand? So you see something like that, can't you ask the man, honey, what's the plan? What's the arrangement? You understand? Did you people have did the man break an agreement, or did he just do his thing and his own way and went away with it? You understand? But like I said, for me, there is still a gray area in this matter
Okay.
that is not really made clear. You know, that's what the person now is living in grief
Yes.
and all of that. For this man to do divorce, he said at the point in the story, he said he was planning divorce for some time.
Now she feels that, like, let me read it so I don't just give out of context. She feels that he has been preparing himself. The reason why he has been using only his name
So she knew there was a preparation.
at this point where she is now.
Okay.
She's not
It's
saying,
now she
oh,
discovered.
so this is what made he has been doing this all this while. Oh, so this is why my husband bought me a car, and that car he bought me
Is in his
is
name.
in his name. This is why my husband keeps buying lands and houses, and none of them has my
And
even
they have
the even
kids.
the half letter of her name.
And they have kids.
She didn't indicate, but I think she talked about her going back to her father's house with
She
her
also
children.
said when she was pregnant.
Yeah, so they obviously have kids. Do you understand?
But I think she should just go to court.
What
Court
if
will
she
set-
didn't marry in court?
No,
She didn't
you
marry.
must not marry. Any church marriage has a legal backing.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't.
That certificate where they give.
That means
It
she
doesn't.
will go to church to settle the matter.
No, that certificate is a law certificate.
No, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
It's not.
No, it's a law certificate.
It's not.
It's not.
That is why embassies now
Reject
would
it.
not accept church certificate. It has to be court.
It has to be
It
court.
has to be federal government of Nigeria.
That is what is in the certificate now.
No, but it's church still. It's not
It's
from
church.
the court.
No,
Not-
no. Recently, church has upgraded to that. I may not be 100% sure. I may have to research.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
But
possible.
recently, I know that once they bring that paper, it bears a government something.
Because I know
then
some
in the presence
churches,
of the church or something.
because some churches, like in my church, you have to do court first before you do the church wedding.
They'll mandate you to go and do court
It-
first.
and it's frankly speaking, which is because of all these issues. That is, it wasn't like this before. Nobody send.
Where did this is
No,
coming from?
the
Issues,
system is
you know,
evolving.
You know.
Yeah. So in this aspect now, let's say maybe per se she didn't do court wedding or she didn't do church wedding. There's no form of legal document
grounds.
binding the both of them. What does she do?
She should pray.
You don't come to like Nigeria.
Well, there are two things you can pray or fight. It's either you fight it in the spiritual or fight it in the physical. I mean, look at the question now. What backing does she have?
No, she doesn't.
Because the man has done everything in his name.
In his name. Do you understand?
Right? Like I was saying, people should always know the next of kin, because for any property you buy, there's always a next of kin. So that means she didn't even find out whether because I am aware of somebody, that person is my neighbor, you know, that the wife, is the wife that bought the land, bought it in her husband's name, but she was the next of kin. You understand? So her name is in the documentation. You understand? You know, so you can't just be blind like that. And it's not just one land, it's not just two properties. You know, what's happening here? Okay, you buy land, let me see the documents now. You understand? As if she was just living in darkness. You know, even though we know that, yes, the husband is Lord and all of that, but you should have a little bit of say. When you make that approach, because the way I was taught, women come from a place of influence. Men have authority.
Yeah.
So influence is stronger than authority, right? Which a lot of women don't understand. You understand? A woman can always use her place of influence and get results from her husband, right?
True.
So once you reach that place of influence and you notice some friction, then that should be a sign for you to know that something is
It's wrong somewhere.
You understand? Because if the man is hiding things and it's not open to you, you should know. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe she just sat down and just allowed the man to be doing things. Like we're talking about blind trust. Make you just do, but anyhow when you run. Then you shouldn't be complaining because you did a gamble.
So the
So
50-50.
in rounding up,
Yeah.
I think we have spent time. So rounding up,
Yeah.
the lady should. I think I borrow. Is either she prays or she fights. But I don't think there's somebody that will be in that kind of situation in this 21st century.
No, they
So
are.
everybody should.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
If you are married without documents, go and find your document.
Yeah. Actually, there are two things for me. It's either you and your husband, if you don't have legal backing, have church backing. For goodness sake, one
There
of
must
the
be
two has to
something.
be there,
Yeah.
you know, because if two people have a pastor, to a certain extent, there is always a level of compromise. Because if you feed from the same source, there's a level of, because I have seen it. I have seen couples that were in the brink of divorce, but the pastor,
Revived it.
because the man
Listens
to the pastor, even though he wanted to divorce the wife, the pastor was able to simmer that tension. And up till now, this I'm telling you, it's like 10 years ago, up till now, they're still together.
Wow.
It became so bad that the man was sleeping in the hotel. He didn't want to come back home.
Wow.
It was that bad. You understand? And because it's somebody close to me, I understand, because the wife now strong-head person, I hate the touch. So I still understood to a certain level. But that's what I'm talking about. There should be something, you know, if you don't have legal backing, at least have spiritual backing. For good. We know we overemphasize spirituality, but at least
Have
to
one.
an extent, have one.
So if you don't have legal backing, auntie or run, find spiritual backing. Just have a backing.
Because you will just be
most
crying
important
and they
thing.
don't cheat you, they don't cheat you.
Nobody,
You will just be
nothing
crying.
can happen.
Just have a backing. That's the most important thing.
Hope that
So
the man will repent.
yeah. I'm sporty.
Repentance in Nigeria does not touch money.
Well, it's sad. It's just unfortunate.
It's sad. No. It's an unfortunate one because it's sad when you walk hand in hand with somebody and you say, this person is my backbone, no matter what, this person will not. And all of a sudden, or maybe step by step, things just start changing to a different perspective. So we are going to wrap up the
But can I say one thing briefly in wrapping up?
Okay.
Sorry to break you. Something
Please.
just came to my mind. In her own case, it's not a partnership. Because if it's a partnership, you would have been doing it together to a certain extent. But if the man relegates you to just taking care of, I don't believe in that. Just relegate your wife to just taking care of the house and there you are running things. It's not a good sign. So I'll say to everybody out there, if you're a woman and you find yourself in that situation, don't come back and cry tomorrow. Step up and find out. If you are, even though the man is the head of the house, he should be able to carry you along to a certain extent. See, I'm seeing this land, we're buying this land. What do you think? I want to do this. What do you do about? How do you think we should go about it? As they say in two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
So that's just my side.
Your input. So honestly, this segment has been wonderful. It has been marvelous in the Lord's sight. So we are going to wrap up this segment. We really, really appreciate you coming today, leaving all your busy schedules and being here with us in this show. We appreciate you and we thank you so much.
Thank you for the privilege.
So it's going to be until next time. Do you have any other things to add?
Thank you. Please share this video and let somebody learn from it.
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you. So it's going to be until next time. Gist with Lizzie. Bye. See ya.